This video is sponsored by Raycon. In today's video, today's video, we're gonna be jacking up the rear suspension.
Michael J, I thought we weren't gonna do anything to the suspension.
That wasn't cringy at all, Father. Thank you for that. I did tell him to do that, so. No, I lied. We are gonna do something to the suspension, kinda. Let me explain.
Let's take a perfectly good MT-07, tear it apart and turn it into an adventure bike. For no reason at all, I think Jake is losing his mind.
This is a lowering link, but this one is very unique. You see, this one from Extreme Creations not only has lowering points on it, it has jack up points on it. This is a jack up kit. So they hooked us up with this. Huge thanks to Extreme Creations. They make all kinds of cool stuff. They literally make a turbo for this bike. It sounds like a great idea. So let's show you what this will do, how it does it. So we've constructed a drawing here to try to explain what's going on. Red bit here, this is representing the shock. Black piece on here is our swing arm. Little green bit back here is some of the frame coming through. The blue part is part of our linkage system. By making these either longer or shorter, or just changing where the bolt point sits on here, that'll change the angle of the swing arm. So our goal is to angle it down a little bit more. This is where the axle was going through, so if you just take a little extension like this, push it in there a little bit. Now the swing arm shouldn't drop, but just, yeah, a little bit. There you go. I have to lift up on the swing arm a little bit. No, I don't have to on this one. All right. Oh, this is our stock linkage. This is the one we're replacing it with. As you can see, it's got our adjusters on here, as we were talking about before. It's a little more beef too. The thing of this one is actually meant for the 700 Tracer, not the MT-07. If you don't know, there's a version of this bike in Europe that's a little more sort of touring. It's got a slightly longer swing arm, about 2 inches longer. When I was talking to Extreme Creations, they said the one for the Tracer's got a bigger bearing in it, which you can really see that. It's got a way fatter bearing in it, and they've already put it in there for me. Thank you guys. One, it's stronger. Secondly, this will actually give it more extension than the normal one will. I'm gonna start this in the stock position, which won't even really quite be the stock position, probably be a little bit higher, but we can adjust this once it's all in there. I can still get down in there and change the placement of this. You know what, guys? It's 2020. We got rockets that land upside down, cars that drive themselves, and the AI robots are smarter than you are. Nobody wants cables connecting things together. That's why today's video sponsor is Raycon. I've got the E25s here. These are some premium earbuds at a good price. They seal into your ears super well. They even give you this little rackadoo full of different sizes for different size ear holes. The sound quality is absolutely amazing, but guys like Snoop Dogg also think so. So take his word more than mine. I've actually been falling asleep with them in my head. You know about those apps? They got these apps that tell you stories, you pass out. I have to do it, otherwise I stare at the ceiling. Probably the best testimony I could say, I literally fall asleep with these multiple times. You can also make phone calls with these things, do whatever. I can put my helmet over them, it actually works out pretty well. They say they go for 6 hours. I think they might go a little longer, but that's what they're advertising at, so 6 hours. So head over to Raycon, check out the E25s, it's their newest model. You need to use the link in the description to get 15% off. That's buyraycon.com/TGS. You will get that 15% off. These are already like half the price of the other premium earbuds out there, so, you know, even better. Thank you to our sponsor, Raycon.
I think that's good.
So I'm gonna try to add a little preload to this shock, little crappy toolkit that comes on your bike that's mostly useless. It does have this thing. Oh, there we go. It's like a garage door spring. It gets more dangerous as you go. And I guess we'll throw one more in there. Woo! All right, bit of corrosion on here. It's like some idiot off-roaded this thing a whole bunch already. And there's some down in this hole, so we're gonna have my favorite thing ever, you know, one of these guys. Oh, I can just see the rust. I'm noticing a little bit of rust down in here. I'm trying to clean it up a little bit, and I'm gonna hit it up a little bit of this black Rust-Oleum. I don't want it to continually slowly rusting, especially since we're really now talking about taking this off-roading. The good thing is it's about this color when it dries. It's what I painted the kickstand with on my XR, and it's pretty uniform, so. That marinate for a few minutes. I'll give it maybe 1 or 2 more of those and should be good. While our paint is drying, what we can do is another little side project I wanted to do. So as you can see here, we got some little holes in here, we got some crevices because we removed some of the fairing piece that was in here. Also removed our stock, whatever little street fender, which didn't do a whole lot anyway. It was a pretty small little thing. It's fine if you're on the street, but if you're being crazy and going off-roading, it's not enough. Also, we just throw dirt into our shock back here. So that's no good. So what I want to do, line this whole thing, just fender that's going to come all the way down, and then we'll curve it right here, and just like a dirt bike fender, we'll make it kind of, you know, fill in this space right here. To do that, in order to make this happen, we're going to get some cardboard, kind of make a template, and use a little trash can we picked up from Walmart. I think this will actually work pretty good. I think we can cut this up, heat gun, we can make it whatever shape we want. There it goes. Made a little groove right here for the chain. I think I need to take a little bit more out though. I'm gonna pop the battery out real quick. I'm gonna see if I got any space to try and maybe put some little bolts that would attach into our mud flap. We gotta have some other way to tie it in other than just at the very top. That'd be silly.
We can't put a screw head against this wall because the battery goes right up against it.
Yeah, but this is ramped out. So if you come up a little bit on here and I could put something with an Allen head that's round, I could probably get away with that. Those of you guys who were there for the ZX6R build, here's some of the factory fairing bolts. So remember last time I said we had merch made from this ridiculous drawing? But I also said that if you guys bought the giant flag, that would be hilarious. Well, aren't y'all just hilarious? Because that's what people are buying more than anything. It's the thing I've set to make no money off of. Confused little reverse psychology here. You know what would be hilarious is if y'all bought the hoodie and the shirt. That would be something. Y'all are pretty funny. Thank you for the number of y'all there who were actually silly enough to buy this as a giant flag. Please tag me on Instagram with a picture of that. If you buy any of the merch, tag me on Instagram. Don't at me. I won't say, I'm just too popular. I won't see the at. But really, tag me. I will put, if you want me to, I'll share it in my story. I'll put it in these videos. Do it. Please. All right, it's been a few days. Normally I don't bother mentioning that. You just would notice my clothes change and we would just continue working on the bike. But I thought it'd be worth mentioning really fast because you know, I try to do these videos and have like a, you know, woo, kind of a chipper attitude, if you will. I had to put my old dog down. So, y'all remember Jakey the dog? I had a few videos of him back in the day. I tried like doing this like 3 or 4 times now, and I keep stopping because I'm just like so low energy. There's work to be done, and I'd like to do it. All right, let's get to it. I think I'm gonna throw the shock back in because the paint's dried on that, and then we'll continue mocking up the rear fender. test fitting everything on here, and it actually is pretty good between the two pieces. Surprised how well this turned out. I'm gonna trim some of this excess off right here, bulging out, and I think I'm gonna round off these corners. These holes are so tight, I actually have to screw them in here through the plastic a little. Good, we want this to be as watertight as we can get it. I'm gonna run some of this weather stripping on the sides and at the top. I'm not gonna run any on the bottom because if any water does get up behind here, you want it to have a path out. Threads are just barely sticking out, so I'm actually gonna apply some Loctite to the nuts. So I put this washer on here, let's see how much threads are sticking through. Don't think it'll be much. But before I put the side cover back on, I do want to take care of the brake reservoir. Initially it went back over that way, but I didn't like its placement, so the little bolt that went through here and kind of held this clamp down. What I've decided to do is get a longer bolt, a little nut that's going to go on the other end that sticks out. Found this little bracket. I don't know what the heck this was to, but if I stick it right here, and I'll kind of tuck it in nice like I was asking for. Oh shoot, it's not going to be the easiest thing to tighten up, is it? Little lubricant. These are kind of hard to get into. You don't want to use WD-40 on something like this. That wouldn't mix too well. This thing is plastic, so as you push this down, you may want to put your finger up on it there. Yeah, we got it down good. I can't get these clamps on here. I think the thickness of this tube is just too thick. So I'm gonna throw some zip ties around this bottom end here. It's not my preferred thing to do. Realistically, this thing is watertight just as it sits on here as it is. Snugged up, and then you kind of grab them here and you kind of wind them out. Get them pretty silly tight. Now we want to refill it before we clamp it on because that lets us pull it out here. And you gotta remember, stock, you'd have to unclamp this to fill it too anyway. It wasn't like this was accessible. Now the best part, we get to cover it all up. That looks pro. I'm happy with that. I'm just kidding, kind of. So before we do like the chain tension and tighten the axle up, this is the time now when we can play with our linkage. Like I said, right now we're in the stock position, but again, this is a Tracer 700 linkage, so it already raised it up a little bit, plus the tire I think is a bit thicker. I do want to try the one size up from this, but like I said, the things we need to check for is the chain and making sure that the clearances and everything are good, especially down here where fortunately there's not a roller, it's just really close to the rear set piece here, but we obviously don't want to be touching that, so we need to look at the sort of angle there and make sure everything looks like it's good. And our other major concern is the exhaust. As you can see, I already got the can off right now. I didn't even think about this until we started doing this, but with this, when the swing arm is fully extended, muffler and the swing arm were probably just a few millimeters apart from each other. You loosen up this mid pipe here, you kind of can reposition the can. We'll have to see what we can figure out though with that. Right now what I want to do is I want to pull that bolt back out, and we'll go to the plus 25 millimeters, which for us is, who knows. Lift up on the back tire. There we go. Back the bike up to get that in position. Does that look pretty tall? Much too much slack in there. So you can see right now we are touching the frame here, but this is one of those bikes they want you to check with no weight on it. It's supposed to push down with something like 3 pounds of force, 2 inches of chain slack, and you can see we're beyond that right now, which is good. That means we can tighten it up and see if we can get it off of there. I still have about a ½ inch more play than they say to, which the way we were running the pitch of this swing arm, if I feel like I can get away with that, I'd rather do it that way. And we're not hitting this metal down here, so we should be okay. I'm so used to supermoto chains, I forget this is normal on a street bike. The only thing now to do is to see if we can make the exhaust fit like that. With this bolts loose, if I pivot this thing a little bit, we make it fit. Still want to get it up tight. I don't want it to be down low. Yeah, maybe something like that. If I angle it like this, I can get even more clearance. What I don't know is if clamp will still make it up to the point here. It's just a little too tight, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna change it up here. This was the bolt that it ran in there. I've got this one, it's a little bit longer, and a spacer. I'm gonna put that between the clamp and the bike to try to pull the exhaust out a little bit. I did this on my supermotos. This is what I've had to do all my supermotos to make it clear the back tire, and it works. Normally I wouldn't be thrilled about pivoting this and having the O2 sensor like protruding out more, but obviously it's not an issue with this. That actually all worked out pretty good. This is all very firm. We have a gap, it's not touching, and the wheel's off the ground, so that's as high as this thing's gonna go. And the chain is not rubbing the frame. That means we can get away with the highest setting, which is nuts. Let's get it off the stand and see how it looks. The pegs are up so high. Is this thing even a kickstand well? Look at the angle this thing's at right now. It needs to be like here. And there's still something that's gonna happen in the front. I haven't told y'all about that yet, so yeah, this thing's gonna get cut and extended. There's no way around that. All right. Oh my, when I have a seat on here, it's gonna be like up to here. Plus what I'm gonna do to the front, I'm gonna be tiptoeing this thing. So what do you like better, this or this? Come on, dude, this is pretty wild. And everything worked out really, really well. We were able to go to the highest setting on the jack up link, mud flaps in there, even this tire's been bigger. All that adding up, look, you know, I was like, oh, we're not gonna do anything to the suspension. I mean, you know, I didn't mean like we're gonna do anything to it. I just meant we weren't gonna like radically modify the bike to take on like a 450 rear end or something like that. Like those of you on Patreon, go check out the video I put over there where I actually show this bike kind of in a jack up position where it's going to be sitting. So thanks to Extreme Creations for hooking it up with that jack up link. I've seen a lot of lowering links, I've never seen a raising link. Check out that website, they make a ton of crazy links and they make a turbo for this bike. So next video, we'll be doing this one later. I think I just ripped my pants. Well, we're recording, what are we doing? Okay, I'm ready. Smells great for your lungs in here right now. Right up through here, into there, and into there. Into there. And we'll go from there to there. Well,